Hi everyone, I hope you're all staying safe and well out there and that you had good celebrations with your families yesterday for July the 4th, your Independence Day. Of course we don't celebrate that here in the UK, but I just thought I'd come on today and just have a little chat, and I'm going to feed Beatrix because it's her lunch time. Here she is, my little precious girl, look at her. So precious. And have a little chat, because you know me and chatting. There we go, darling. Got a little Peter Rabbit bib to put on her. There we go, sweetie. There you go. It's a baby girl. She's adorable, isn't she? Just love this little girl. Yeah, I was thinking about my gran this morning, and I was going to talk to you about that, because my gran, I really love my gran, and I'll pop a picture on of me and her. I only had one grandmother and one grandfather when I was growing up, and I didn't see my other grandfather, my dad's dad, very often at all. But we used to see my mum's dad, my mum's mum, quite often. She'd come over and have a Sunday dinner with us, or we would go and see her. And we would walk round the country lanes. My mum would push a pram just in case my younger brother or sister couldn't walk that far, because it was quite a way. Because when we moved into our home, there was countryside all around us. Well, of course, it's all built up. It built up pretty quickly, actually. So we'd wander around the country lanes to my gran's, and I used to love going there. I used to love the walk as well, and of course there was hardly any cars on the road then, hardly any at all. I mean, you very rarely saw a car. So, is that right, darling? She's enjoying that. So, you know, I walk along, and I used to have this hobby. I used to press flowers. Do pressed flowers. I used to find wildflowers and take them home with me, but I used to do it on the way back because otherwise they started to wilt a bit. But I used to collect wildflowers and press them in 2 sheets of paper, and I used to put my Encyclopedia Britannicas on top of them to squeeze them because my dad bought me a complete set. If you remember those, the salesman used to come round the door for them. That's a gorgeous girl, aren't you? And yeah, we used to walk round the lanes, and my little brother used to have a stick, and he'd be smashing everything down like boys do, and we'd see some people riding horses occasionally, and it was nice, you know. It was very gentle, and I enjoyed being out in the countryside. It was really nice. And when we got to Gran's, Gran always used to know we were coming, so she had this enormous back garden where she grew vegetables, and she had some chickens and she had some geese. But we were terrified of the geese. They were like guard dogs. They were terrible. They really were. They scared the living daylights out of us. And she used to shut the gates so they couldn't come through. They used to just poke their heads over the top of it and shout at us. But my gran had like a back sitting room and a front sitting room, and we were never allowed in the front one, not the posh sitting room. And she had a chaise longue, and we used to sit on the chaise longue, the three of us, and we weren't allowed to say anything, make a noise. We just sat there while her and Mum chatted. There you go, darling. There you go. Let's just get some burpees up. Let's get her burps up. There we go. There she is. And then if we were good, my gran used to go into this cupboard she had in the corner of the room. Oh, goodness, Beatrix. That was a big burp. She said she's got room for some more milk now, Mummy. Haven't you? Yes, she has. Oh, she's such a cute girl. She's so cool. Yes, she is. And she used to go in this cupboard. And if we'd been very good, she'd bring out this big sweet jar. And she'd let us have a sweet. We could pick one. Yeah, used to love that. And then we used to walk home, you know. And it was lovely. It was a nice Sunday outing. And I think the reason I was thinking about that was because people have been doing that during this awful pandemic. People have been going out for walks together as families. And it's kind of changed how people do things with each other. Because we're not very good with change, are we, human beings? I mean, when I was a little girl and everything was countryside around us, when I go back home now, it's so built up. And so much has changed in the world that the little girl that I was wouldn't recognise anything that's going on now. I mean, and as I said, we're just not good with it. So this pandemic has been... Is that enough, sweetie? She's had enough, haven't you? She's only a little girl. So yeah, this has been quite a shock to the system for all of us, hasn't it? Because... Do you want to go up on Mummy's shoulder? There we go, sweetie. Come on, baby. Up you go. There she is. It's been kind of a shock to our system that everything has changed, you know. And we've got no control over it. And I just don't think we're very good with that. Our whole way of life has changed, hasn't it? I mean, Conrad went for a haircut yesterday, the first haircut he's had for 4 months, and it was just so different. You know, having to wear masks. She was only allowed to have one person in there at a time. She had to sterilise everything she used. He had to hold on to his mask while she undid the side bits so she could do round his ears and everything. And it was quite a different experience to anything we've ever known before, and we just are not very good with that kind of thing. Is that better, Beatrix? Yeah. Bless her. There we go. Got all her wind up. And we were watching... there we go, darling. We watched Tom Cruise's film, War of the Worlds. I don't know if you've seen it. But it just was so kind of relevant to what's happening now, really, because I don't know if you know War of the Worlds, but it was written by H.G. Wells in 1890, would you believe? 1890. And he envisioned that we would be invaded by Martians, and that Martians would be so superior to us in every way that none of our weapons would harm them, or, you know, they'd just kill us. They'd just rid the earth of us, you know. And the one thing that stopped them was that they weren't immune to the little bugs and viruses on our planet. So that killed them. And it took, you know, now we're going through all this, and there's this little bug that's out there that's trying to do the same to us, isn't it? So, yeah, it kind of... My thoughts were a bit jumbled, I know, but one thing, thinking about Gran and everything and change, led to the other. And I thought, well, I'd chat to you about that, because it is relevant to how we are all feeling now, you know, the loss of our lives, almost like grief. You know, we're all going through this grieving period of not being able to have our lives and do the things we want to do. And that is hard, because we just don't deal with it very well. But, you know, that little bug's out there, so we've got to stay safe. And I urge you all to do that, even if you do, like I have been a couple of times. I've been out, I've been ultra careful, and that's what we've got to be. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed seeing me feed my little Beatrix today. She's happily going to go off to sleep, so I put her back in the cot with her brothers and sisters. And talking about brothers and sisters, Alexandra sent me some pictures of my new baby boy this morning. Oh my goodness, love at first sight. I can't wait to get him. I should get him on Tuesday, but of course they have to go into quarantine for a day. So you'll probably see him Thursday. So look out for a box opening. You have a good rest of your Sunday. And Beatrix says, big kisses to her godmother Lucy. And big kisses to everybody else. Love you, ladies and gentlemen.